Yo, what's going on guys? Tanmay here for Simple Snippets and welcome back to the 7th video tutorial under the Dynamic Web Application Development with ASP.NET and C# programming, MS SQL as the database and Bootstrap for front-end styling. And in this video tutorial, we are going to be developing the user profile page. Now in the previous video tutorial, we designed the sign up page and prior to that we designed a couple of other pages. If you have missed any of the video tutorial, I will drop the link of this entire course, entire playlist in the video description. Do check it out. And for those who followed me so far, we developed the home page, which looks something like this. Let me just load it. Yeah, this is the home page. We also did the admin login as well as the user login page. And then later on we did the sign up page. And in this video, as I mentioned, what we're going to do is, if you just go on this dummy website, so this is the dummy website which I showed, which is a completely working website. So if you just first log in, let's go on user login. And I'm going to log in. When I click on login, you can see I get hello ts11, which is the username that I logged in with. And when I click on this link, there you go, you can see this page is known as the user profile page, where the user will see all of his or her details. Okay. He will also see whether his account is active, pending or deactive, depending upon what the admin does. And he'll see all the details like full name, date of birth, state, city. Right now I've put everything blank because obviously I don't want you guys to show up to my place. And then he'll also see his member ID as well as the old password. Now the user can change his new password. That's the only thing that he can do on this page, hence the update button. And on the right hand side, you can see whenever a user is a member of a library, he or she is gonna get some books, right? He or she is gonna borrow some books from the library, right? So this entire form or this entire table will basically show what all books that particular user has taken. And when is the due date, when he has to return, is he in the defaulters list, is the due date passed, and so on and so forth. So right now you can see a dummy table, but we haven't loaded any data over here since this is a demo site and just to give you a user interface example. But this is the interface which we are going to develop today. So just pause the video, take a look at this entire interface, user interface, and let's actually now jump to the actual development. So coming to our code, open up your project, and if you followed me so far, these are the number of pages that we've created: admin login, home page, user login. We've created the master page. We've created the user sign up. Just right click on it. Let's create one more content page. Click on add, new item. In the web forms, select web form with master page. Rename the web form as user profile or whatever you want. Just remember the name, user profile.aspx. Hit add. Select this master page because we only have one master page. And we've added our user profile. Now coming back to the example dummy website, in the previous video tutorial what we did, we designed the sign up page, right? So if I go on user sign up, okay, that link is broken, so I have to again re-execute it. I'm executing the code again, basically clicking on the debug. Sometimes what happens is when you click on this debug button and when you close the browser, or sometimes I don't know why, but this browser link is broken. Right now you can see it is connected. And let me just show you the user sign up. Now this page is something that we designed in the previous video tutorial, right? Now if you just go on our demo page and see the user profile, user view profile, ASPX page, you can see that this left part is pretty much exactly the same like the member sign up page, right? So just see this, just pause this. The only difference is in the login credentials, these two are not editable, they are only readable, read only. And we have one new password extra text box. Over here everything else is the same, so we just have to add an extra password or a new password field over here, and then the sign up button is changed to update button. That's it. We also have to add this account status, and that will be the only difference in this entire form. So what we'll do, we'll use this entire form to begin with, and that will ease up our coding. In fact, we just have to do a lot of copy paste in this entire tutorial. So let's actually get started and let's go to the user sign up page first. Coming to the dummy, you can see that we have two different cards over here. So this is one entire card and this is another card, and you can see that there is an uneven split between the two and they are stretched to the entire edges, which means that this entire two cards is in a container fluid oriented division and not a basic container. And when I say container and container fluid, these are all Bootstrap classes. By now I'm assuming that you guys know about this. We've talked extensively about Bootstrap in separate tutorial. So let's create this container hierarchy first. So coming to the user sign up page, I'm just gonna literally copy this entire user sign up and come to our user profile page, hit enter and paste it over here. Okay. When I save this and when I refresh this, this is how our user profile should look like. Let me just change the link to user profile. Okay, hit enter, and yeah, this is how our user profile page also looks like, which is exactly like user sign up, right? But if you go on our dummy page or demo website, we need two different cards. Okay, so we only have one card. So let's go ahead and add one more card. So first things first, just scroll up, come to the user profile, remove this MX auto because we don't want this one division to the center. In fact, we want two separate divisions, right? So this is the container. This container has to be container fluid. Okay. When I make this container as container fluid, what will happen is this border will stretch to both the ends. Okay. Now in that we have one row and then we have this one column. So similar to that, we want one more column. Okay. So I'm gonna add one more division over here. First thing, let's make this column take 5 spaces. Minimize this. Let's add a division over here. And it's not gonna be a row, okay? It's gonna be a column. So this division is taking call MD5. And we know that one row will take 12 columns. So we just subtract 5 from the 12 and we are left with 7. So now I'm gonna say call -MD-7. Okay, so this is that division which will hold the grid view. This is basically a grid view, that is the table, and then this icon and this info badge. So let's just save this and let's see how it looks like right now. Okay, so there you go. This first card has shifted to the left just like we have in our demo page. And to the right, we still have to create that division and card and all that hierarchy. So right now it's not visible, but we'll create that in a minute. So let's first make this form exactly like this. So if you go on our demo page or demo website, first thing we have your profile. We have to do your profile over here. Let's make that change happen. Coming to the first column in the card, this member sign up has to be your profile. So that's done. Moving down. Before the horizontal rule, that is before this HR rule, we have this account status and then we have this badge also, right? So you have to add this. So let's add that. So in this very same row where we added the your profile text, which is this, let me just refresh this. So this text in that division itself, what we'll do, we'll hit enter. We'll use the center tag also. And here what we'll do, we'll add a span which says account status and then hyphen. So the reason why we added a span and not a division is because span is an inline element which does not take the entire row. Okay. I hope you know that basic HTML concepts. And now what we'll do is we'll add a ASP label over here and not a basic HTML label. So let me just drag and drop this ASP standard toolbox label. I'll drag and drop it over here. Okay. Let me just move it ahead. Okay, so we've added the ASP label. Let's just save this and let's refresh and look how it looks like. Okay, so you can see the account status and label is added. But now you can see that account status hyphen and this label is in that badge or pill class. Now if you've seen the previous video tutorial, we did go to the getbootstrap.com to get this pill. If you want, what we can do, let's go to the getbootstrap.com, go to the documentation. Here just type in PILL badge pill badges, click on it, and this is the class. Okay, so we'll take this info class for now. Now these are all Bootstrap default classes. We are just using them in our code. Coming to our code, what we'll do, we'll apply this class to the ASP label. Okay. Now the reason why I'm using a ASP label and not a basic HTML label is because obviously this label is going to be a dynamic label. When I say dynamic, it will run at server because we want to change the status of this label depending upon what is the account status of every user, and that will come from the database in the backend coding. Hence this is the ASP label. Let's just save this. Right now it will show a static color, but it will change class depending upon what the status of the user is. So status right now, I'll just put in your status over here as the dummy text. Let's save this and refresh it, and let's see how it looks. And there you go, you can see this pill is added over here. Now everything else below is pretty much the same thing, except for the fact that in the login credentials part, we have user, we have password, and then we have one more new password text, and this button has to be update button. So let's do that. Let's change that. So scrolling down to the very end, we have this row inside which we have this column which is taking 6 parts. We will make it 4. We will make this one 4, and these 2 text boxes are supposed to be read only. So when you go on this text box, you get the properties tab over here for the text box. Let's go ahead and change the read only property to true. We'll change this passwords read only property also to true. And what we'll do is we'll add one more division over here, which will also take 4 spaces. So these 3 elements will take 4, 4, 4, total 12 spaces. Over here we'll say new password, and this we will rename as old password. Okay, let's just save this. Let's just save this and hit refresh. Yeah, so the text box is also added. This one has to be not read only, so let me just remove that read only attribute. Okay, yeah, that is removed. And the sign up button has to be actually update button. So let's make this update button, and this has to be button primary, which will give it a blue color. We'll remove this button block attribute, and let's get this in the center. So hit enter over here, use a center tag to center it. Using center tag is not the most ideal way to go about this, but it is easy and gets the job done. You can have a CSS class to get things in the center. I just use it because it's convenient. Let's refresh. Okay, so there you go. We've got our update button over here. Everything seems pretty much the same. This update button is a little larger because it is occupying the entire column, which is not exactly taking 12 spaces. It's probably taking 8 spaces. You can add that over here also. You know, if I say call -8 and if I say mx auto, and now if I give this btn-block, if I save this, if I refresh, there you go, you can see now the button has enlarged. Okay, so you just need to know the proper classes and play a little bit with Bootstrap CSS classes, and then you can get things styled according to your needs. So yeah, this entire part is done. The first card is done. Now we have to go to the second card. On the second card, if you just observe, the first top section is pretty much the same. So what we'll do, we'll just copy this entire card over here and then erase out things that we don't want. So let's go to the code, scroll up. So this is that entire division which is taking 5 spaces. Inside that we have this entire card. So let's copy this card, minimize this division that is taking 5 spaces, and this is the division that is taking 7 spaces, which will have the table also. Let's paste things over here, but we have to remove a lot of things now, because in our demo you can see we only need this upper part. We don't need all these text boxes. We need a grid view over here. So let's just keep the first row because it has an image. We have to change this image to image of books, right? We need a book image over here. So let's change this. What is the book image? Yeah, we need book1.png. The next thing that we need is info about book due date. So this is a basic pill, you know, we just need to add a simple pill. So what we'll do, we'll just go to this page, copy this entire span, come over here. We don't need this account status and all this ASP label also, because this is not dynamic. But let's keep it dynamic, because let's say you want to show some defaulter information. Let's say a person is crossed his due date and he has to return the book. You can put that information over here that your due date has passed, and you can put that in this text. So we'll keep only this ASP label, and the text is going to be your books info. Okay, we don't need this heading tag. what do we have? Do we have a heading tag? Okay, we have this your issued books, so we'll add that over here. Let's just save this and see how it looks like for now. Okay, I made a mistake of having the duplicate IDs. Don't do that. Let me just erase this out, save this and refresh this, and there you go. You can see on the right hand side we are not getting the image. Why are we not getting the image? Let's just observe. Okay, it's books1.png, not book1. Saving this, and what we'll do, we'll remove all this extra text boxes. We don't need the text boxes, we don't even need the button. So let's just minimize this row, minimize the horizontal rule row, and everything below is supposed to be removed. So just minimize this. I'm gonna remove this, minimize this, minimize all the rows, and then you can remove them easily without tampering the entire hierarchy. Okay, things are pretty much removed. Let's save this, refresh. Okay, there you go. The top part is done. If you see the demo, this is how it looks like, and this is how it looks like over here. The only thing required now is a grid view, grid table. So let's quickly add that. Just copy one more row over here. Now inside this, instead of the horizontal rule, what we need is a grid view. So go in the data section, select the grid view and drag and drop it over here, save it, and let's see if it shows. I don't think it would show up because it is blank and it is not taking any data. Yeah, it's showing pretty much blank because over here the data is coming from the database. I've just loaded it for test purposes, and this user interface is coming by Bootstrap by adding some classes. So let's add some classes also to this grid view. The classes that we have to make this grid view a good looking user interface oriented grid view is table, table-stripped, and table-bordered. You can go to the get bootstrap page and type in table, and you can see these are the classes. We have table, and we have table-dark if you want a dark mode oriented table. We have .th head light, and we have different classes. This is the one that I used, table stripped. We have border table with borders and whatnot. Okay, so right now obviously our table is not visible because it's not loading any dummy data also, and it's not search enabled right now. We will do that when we go in the backend coding. We still have to use the data tables library, and the data tables library will be applicable on this table, which will make this grid view a very dynamic and search enabled grid view. It will add a lot of features and looks, so that we'll do. But right now we are pretty much done with the static designing part. Just imagine that there is a table over here because we've dragged and dropped this grid view. By the way, there is a design view also. If you go on the design view, this is how the design view would look like. It is pretty crappy and you don't really understand what's going on. But yeah, this is the grid view over here. I don't usually view this design view. I don't feel it is very intuitive. So mostly I only switch to source and try to dry run it over here to see what is the changes. So yeah, this is the user profile page, which is pretty much similar to this one, the demo one. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we'll design some other page. We're still in the process of designing a lot of pages because there are many pages. I will obviously be sharing code of this individual web pages in the description. You can directly copy paste the code. If you're a beginner, I would recommend that you type it out, but yeah, you can do that also. All the code will be shared on our official website. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you like this video. By now I'm sure if you followed all the tutorials, you must have got a hang of how the front-end user interface designing goes, and you can experiment a lot along with your own creativity. So yeah, before concluding, if you've made it so far, please give this video a like. Let me know in the comments how this course is going for you. If you have any queries, you can put them in the comments. Maybe I can make a separate video. Do share it with your friends. This entire course will be definitely helpful. And definitely turn on the notifications so that you get notified whenever I upload the next video. And with that being said, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.